Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really, get into a topic. Today, we're diving into the world of English idioms. Those phrases that can be pretty colorful, but sometimes, well, a bit baffling.
Absolutely. Phrases where what the words literally mean isn't really the point at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's raining cats and dogs. We've all sort of paused at that one. Right?
Yeah, idioms give English so much character, but they can definitely be tricky if you're still getting the hang of the language. They're like, well, shortcuts that native speakers use all the time.
And that's what we're here for today, to help you decode some of them. We've pulled together a bunch of common English idioms.
Right.
Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack some of the really useful ones, explain what they actually mean, and give you some solid examples of how you'd hear them in conversation.
Think of it as a way to, quickly get more familiar with these common expressions.
Yeah, hopefully making your English sound a bit more natural and helping you understand native speakers more easily. Okay, let's jump right in. First up, an idiom that sounds a bit negative maybe, but has a positive spin. A blessing in disguise.
Ah, yes. This one's interesting, isn't it? Because disguise makes you think of something hidden, maybe not so good.
Right.
But then you have blessing. So a blessing in disguise is basically something that seems bad or like a misfortune at first, but actually down the line, it turns out to be good.
Yeah, it's that classic moment looking back, you realize something tough actually led to something better. Our source had a great example.
The one about the job.
Yes. Losing that job was a blessing in disguise because it pushed me to start my own business. You can almost feel the realization there.
Exactly. That sort of aha moment when the unexpected positive outcome becomes clear.
Do you think maybe our, tendency to try and find silver linings contributes to idioms like this?
That's a really interesting thought. It does seem like lots of cultures have ways to reframe bad situations. And this idiom definitely taps into that. It kind of encourages you to look long term, What feels like a setback now might actually be opening a door.
True. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, from unexpected good stuff to something you see absolutely everywhere. A dime a dozen.
Right. A very different feel to this one.
I like this one. It paints such a clear picture, doesn't it? A dime a dozen. It means something is super common, really easy to find.
And often the implication is that it's not particularly special or valuable because it's so common.
Like those souvenir shops filled with the same keychains.
Exactly. The example was spot on. Those souvenir keychains are a dime a dozen at the tourist shops. You instantly get that they're not unique, just everywhere and cheap.
Yeah, you wouldn't call a rare stamp a dime a dozen, that's for sure. Unless you found a whole secret stash.
Right. Okay, moving on to one about listening. All ears.
This is a great example of figurative language, isn't it? You can't literally be only ears.
No, definitely not. But it strongly conveys that you're completely tuned in, paying full attention, ready to listen intently.
It's like saying, I'm giving you my complete focus.
Precisely. It signals to the person speaking that, yes, they have your undivided attention. Why do you think we use these non-literal phrases so much?
Maybe they add a bit more punch. Or emotion. I'm listening is fine, but I'm all ears. It feels more active, more welcoming somehow.
That's a good point. More engaged.
Yeah, the example shows that, go ahead, I'm all ears. Tell me what's been on your mind. It's like an open invitation.
Exactly. And for you listening, knowing this helps you recognize when someone's really paying attention, but also lets you express that yourself in a warmer way.
Okay, next up, an idiom about shared situations. All in the same boat.
This one is all about solidarity, isn't it?
Totally. If you're all in the same boat, it means you're facing the same problem or difficult situation as other people.
There's that sense of shared experience, yeah. We're facing this together.
The example from the source was clear. Everybody on staff got a pay cut. We're all in the same boat.
Right. It immediately creates a kind of unity, doesn't it? Highlighting that it's not just one person dealing with it.
It really captures that we're in this together feeling, which can be, pretty important sometimes.
Definitely. Okay, now for one where you might be mistaken about something. Barking up the wrong tree.
I love the image this one creates. Like a dog absolutely convinced the squirrel is up that tree. When it actually scampered off ages ago.
Exactly. So figuratively, barking up the wrong tree means you're blaming the wrong person or pursuing the wrong idea or maybe taking the wrong approach to something. You're focused in the wrong direction.
The example fits perfectly. If you think I took your book, you're barking up the wrong tree. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a way to correct someone's mistake, but maybe a bit more gently than just saying, you're wrong.
True. It kind of redirects them without being too harsh. Okay, now, an idiom about not being direct, beat around the bush.
Ah, yes, the opposite of getting straight to the point.
Right. If you beat around the bush, you're talking about related things maybe, but avoiding the main issue, being indirect.
Often because the main issue is uncomfortable, right? Or awkward to talk about.
Could be nervousness, maybe trying not to offend someone.
Yeah, it could be lots of reasons. The example was pretty direct, ironically. Stop beating around the bush and tell me why you didn't show up to my birthday party.
Yes. It's basically saying, just tell me.
It can be frustrating when you feel someone's doing this, especially if you just need a clear answer.
Definitely. Okay, next one suggests needing a bit of courage. Bite the bullet.
This one has a bit of a grim origin story, doesn't it? Or at least that's the common theory.
Yeah, the whole thing about soldiers literally biting a bullet during surgery before anesthetics. Ouch.
Right. So the idiom bite the bullet means to face a difficult or unpleasant situation with courage, just enduring it because you have to. That historical image really sticks with you.
It does. It makes the meaning very clear. The example was, I have to bite the bullet and tell him the truth, even though it might hurt him.
Exactly. It's about steeling yourself to do something necessary, even if it's tough. Facing it head on.
Okay, from facing hardship to making peace. Bury the hatchet.
This one feels much nicer, doesn't it? A sense of resolution.
Yeah, it means to end a conflict or disagreement and make peace. To forgive and forget, essentially. Let go of old arguments.
The example was quite touching. After years of not speaking to each other, they finally decided to bury the hatchet and become friends again.
It signals the end of bad feelings, right? A fresh start.
It does. It's interesting how these physical actions, like burying something, become idioms for emotional states.
Very true. Okay, now for a close call. By the skin of your teeth.
Ooh, this one really emphasizes how narrow the escape was.
Doesn't it just by the skin of your teeth means you just barely managed to succeed or avoid disaster? Like the smallest possible margin.
The example is a classic school or work scenario. I passed the exam by the skin of my teeth. I got the minimum required score.
Phew. You could almost feel the relief and maybe a little bit of shock at how close it was.
Exactly. It highlights that feeling of just scraping through. Okay, moving to something more every day. Call it a day.
Ah, a very practical one.
To call it a day just means to stop working on something or stop doing an activity, usually because you've done enough or it's getting late or you're just ready to stop.
Simple as that. The example was, we've been painting all afternoon. Let's call it a day and continue tomorrow.
Right. It's a common, clear way to signal stopping work or any activity, really.
Yeah.
Useful for setting boundaries with your time.
Definitely handy. Okay, now, that feeling just before you do something big. Cold feet.
Oh, yeah. Very relatable, this one. Cold feet describes that sudden nervousness or hesitation right before a commitment.
Like getting married or giving a huge presentation.
Exactly. It often means you feel like backing out at the last minute because of fear or anxiety.
We've all felt that, I think. The example. I was going to ask her out, but I got cold feet at the last moment.
Perfect. Captures that loss of nerve right when you need it. It makes you wonder why cold feet specifically, maybe the physical sensation.
Could be. Interesting thought. Okay, next idiom is about price. Costs an arm and a leg.
Ha. Very dramatic, this one.
Totally. If something costs an arm and a leg, it's just incredibly expensive. It's hyperbole, obviously.
Right. You're exaggerating to make the point about the high price. The example. That luxury car must have cost him an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it clearly signals, wow, that was super pricey, not just, a bit expensive.
Definitely reserved for the big ticket items. You wouldn't want to literally pay that way.
Let's hope not. Okay, moving on. Something we're often told not to do. Cry over spilled milk.
Ah, the wisdom of letting things go.
Exactly. This idiom advises against worrying or complaining about something bad that's already happened and, crucially, cannot be changed.
Right. Crying over spilled milk means dwelling on past mistakes or misfortunes that are done and dusted. There's no fixing it now.
So focus on what you can do now, right? The example was, yes, we made a mistake, but there's no use crying over spilled milk. Let's focus on finding a solution.
Precisely. It's a call for pragmatism. Move on, look forward.
Good advice. Okay, next. Taking shortcuts. Maybe not always in a good way. Cut corners.
This one often has a slightly negative feel to it.
Yeah, cutting corners usually means doing something more quickly or cheaply, but often at the expense of quality or doing it properly.
By taking shortcuts, that might compromise the result.
The example really highlighted that trade-off. Don't cut corners on this project. It needs to be excellent to impress the new client.
Right. It's a warning, basically. Don't sacrifice quality just to save a bit of time or money here. Makes you think, when is a shortcut okay and when isn't it?
Good question. Sometimes the careful way is the only way. Now, something truly annoying. Drive someone up the wall.
This paints a vivid picture too, doesn't it, of sheer irritation.
It really does. To drive someone up the wall means to annoy or irritate them intensely, like to the absolute limit of their patience.
Makes them feel crazy almost. The example is one many people might relate to. Her constant humming drives me up the wall. I can't concentrate with that noise.
Oh, yeah. It's often those little repetitive things, isn't it?
Exactly. Things that just grate on your nerves over time. Okay. Now, an idiom about consequences. Face the music.
Right. This sounds serious.
It usually is. Facing the music means you have to confront the negative results of your actions. Accept the criticism, maybe the punishment, whatever it might be.
It's about taking responsibility, isn't it? Not trying to hide or make excuses.
Exactly. Accountability. The example was very direct. You made a mistake, and now you have to face the music and accept the criticism.
No escaping it. Okay, from consequences to starting something. Get the ball rolling.
This one feels much more positive, more active.
Yeah, getting the ball rolling is all about initiating something, starting a process, beginning an activity, setting things in motion.
The example is super practical. Let's get the ball rolling on this project and assign tasks to the team members.
It's like, okay, planning's done, let's start doing. Gives a sense of momentum.
It does indeed. Moving from talk to action. Okay, now, an idiom about trust. Give someone the benefit of the doubt.
This is about choosing to believe someone, isn't it? Even if you're not 100% sure.
Pretty much. To give someone the benefit of the doubt means you accept their statement or explanation as true, even without solid proof, choosing trust over suspicion.
The example laid it out clearly. I don't have any evidence, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and trust his explanation.
Yeah, it shows a willingness to believe the best, perhaps, or at least not assume the worst without proof. It can feel like a generous thing to do.
Often seen that way, yeah. Okay, now for doing more than expected, go the extra mile.
This is about effort and exceeding expectations.
Right. To go the extra mile means putting in more effort than is necessary or required. Doing more than just the basic job.
The example really sells the value of it. If you want to succeed in this competitive industry, you need to go the extra mile.
It implies that extra effort is what leads to real success or makes a real difference. Shows commitment.
Exactly. Demonstrating you're willing to do more. Okay, next, being spot on. Hit the nail on the head.
I like this one. It feels very precise.
It is. Hitting the nail on the head means you've identified something exactly right. Your description, your analysis, your conclusion, it's perfectly accurate.
The example was, she hit the nail on the head when she said that our team needs better communication.
Yeah, it captures that feeling when someone just says something that is perfectly true and insightful, that, yes, that's exactly it, moment.
Precisely. Okay, next, acting without thinking. In the heat of the moment.
This one explains a lot of impulsive actions, doesn't it?
It does. In the heat of the moment means acting or speaking suddenly, without thinking. Usually because you're feeling strong emotions, anger, excitement, passion.
Right. Your emotions override your rational thought for a second.
The example is very common, sadly. I didn't mean to say those hurtful words. I said them in the heat of the moment.
It's often used as an explanation or maybe an excuse for saying or doing something regrettable, acknowledging the emotion took over.
Understandable, even if not always excusable. Okay, moving to something much lighter. It's a piece of cake.
A classic idiom for something easy.
Totally. If something is a piece of cake, it just means it's very, very simple to do. No trouble at all.
The example is reassuring. Don't worry about the test. It's a piece of cake. You'll do fine.
Yeah, it makes the task sound non-threatening, easy to handle. Very encouraging.
Definitely something you like to hear. Okay, now staying positive when things are tough. Keep your chin up.
Another encouraging one. This means to stay optimistic and hopeful. Right? Especially during difficult times.
Exactly. Don't get down. Maintain a positive attitude despite the setbacks.
The example showed real resilience. Even though he faced many rejections, he kept his chin up and continued to pursue his dream.
Yeah, it highlights that mental toughness, that refusal to be defeated by circumstances. It's about staying strong emotionally.
A great message. Okay, finally, let's look at efficiency. Kill two birds with one stone.
This one's about multitasking effectively, isn't it?
Pretty much. To kill two birds with one stone means you achieve two separate goals with just one single action. Very efficient.
The example showed this perfectly. By taking the train instead of driving, she kills two birds with one stone, saves money, and helps the environment.
Right, two benefits from one decision. It's all about maximizing your effort or action.
Getting more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Exactly. Well, that brings us to a good chunk of common idioms. It's amazing how much meaning is packed into these phrases.
It really is. And, what's fascinating is how they often give you little glimpses into history or cultural values, even if we don't always know the exact origin anymore.
True. Understanding them really does add another layer to appreciating English.
Absolutely.
So, for all of you listening, we really hope this helps. Start listening out for these. You'll probably notice them a lot more now, in conversations, movies, everywhere.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to try using them yourself. It's one of the best ways to really make them stick in your mind. And it'll definitely make your English sound more fluent and natural over time.
Good point. So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about your own language or other languages you know. How are similar ideas expressed? Are there idioms that reflect unique cultural viewpoints?
Yeah, comparing idioms across languages is a whole fascinating area in itself. It tells you so much about different ways of seeing the world.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive into English idioms with us today.
We all use them probably every single day, these little linguistic shortcuts like piece of cake or maybe bite the bullet.
Yeah, they just roll off the tongue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to, really think about the weight and the history packed into those everyday phrases?
Probably not often enough.
Well, today on the deep dive, we're going to unpack some of that richness. We're venturing into the really fascinating world of English idioms. Think of this as like your insider's guide. It's about unlocking a deeper layer of understanding English.
Right.
So whether you're looking to sharpen your communication, maybe get a better handle on cultural nuances, or you're just curious about why we say the things we do. Well, this deep dive is especially for you, the learner.
And for this exploration, we've pulled together a pretty comprehensive collection of idioms. It's based on a document, idiomscompletecollection.pdf, which gathered tons of these from various online sources. It's a real treasure trove of colorful expressions.
A treasure trove, I like that.
Yeah, and our goal isn't just to define them word for word. We want to offer some interesting perspectives, maybe some context, give you those aha moments,
Right, without getting bogged down in some endless dictionary definition.
Exactly. Let's pull out the interesting stuff.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start with some of those general idioms, the ones that feel like, I don't know, little packets of wisdom passed down through the language.
Oh, good way to put it.
Yeah. Take a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It's more than just kitschy, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It really digs into that fundamental human tendency, maybe. Valuing what's certain over what's just potential.
A practical approach. Like, don't risk what you have for something maybe better, but maybe not.
Precisely. And you have to wonder, does its popularity point to, a universal human caution? Or is it more specific to certain cultures where it really thrives?
That's a good question. And then there's a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
What's fascinating there is the whole shift in perspective it implies. Something seems bad at first.
Right, initially negative.
But it actually leads to something good down the line. It suggests resilience, finding those unexpected positives.
That ability to find the silver lining. Yeah, even when things look pretty bleak.
Makes you think, how many bad things actually turned out okay in the end?
Quite a few, probably, if we're honest.
And then you've got the really straightforward ones, like a penny saved is a penny earned.
Can't get much clearer than that.
It's almost like a mantra for being frugal, isn't it? Highlighting how small savings add up. Simple math, but it clearly resonates.
It does. And what about actions speak louder than words?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Cuts right to the heart of trust, reliability.
It really does. It's that constant reminder, isn't it? Look past the promises, focus on what people actually do.
Makes you weigh, verbal commitments versus actual demonstrated actions in relationships, in society, everywhere.
Absolutely. Then you have idioms tapping into shared experiences, like all on the same boat.
Instantly creates that sense of camaraderie, doesn't it? Shared struggle.
It's a powerful way to acknowledge, yeah, we're facing this challenge together. Builds empathy.
For sure. And, when things inevitably go wrong, we talk about being back to square one.
Or back to the drawing board.
Right. Both of those acknowledge that setbacks are just, part of the process sometimes.
It speaks to that iterative nature of solving problems, doesn't it? Sometimes you just have to reset and try again from the beginning.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, what's interesting about beat a dead horse is how it points out, when effort becomes pointless, diminishing returns.
A very concise way to say, look, this issue is over, move on. Highlights the importance of knowing when to shift your focus.
Definitely. And similarly, bite off more than you can chew. That's a classic warning against taking on too much.
Overestimating our capabilities, a lesson many of us learn the hard way.
Guilty. And sometimes, for efficiency's sake, you just need someone to cut to the chase.
Get straight to the point. Avoid the waffle.
Exactly. It values directness. But on the flip side, there's don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Classic advice. Managing expectations.
Right. Don't rely on stuff until it's actually certain. Suggests realism, maybe even a bit of superstition.
That's a great point. And that human spirit thing, it shines through in every cloud has a silver lining.
Such an optimistic one.
It is. A persistent reminder to look for hope, even in dark times. And who doesn't love the feeling of hitting the nail on the head?
Oh, yeah. That satisfaction of being exactly right, saying or doing the perfect thing.
It's such a vivid image, isn't it? That precise hit.
It really is. And sometimes the smartest thing is to just let sleeping dogs lie.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Avoid stirring up old conflicts or problems that are best left alone.
Don't poke the bear, essentially.
Pretty much. And there's once in a blue moon. Just beautifully captures how rare something is.
Yeah, you instantly get it. And of course, the fundamental practice makes perfect.
Can't argue with that one. Simple statement, but it underpins so much of learning skill development.
Yeah.
Everything, really.
True. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How about those colorful comparisons where the idioms paint these really vivid pictures?
Right, using imagery to get the meaning across, like a dime a dozen.
Instantly tells you something super common, easy to get hold of, almost dismissive, maybe?
Yeah, like it's nothing special. And we've mentioned a piece of cake, a task that seems or is really easy.
Or the opposite end, something costing an arm and a leg.
Ouch. Yeah, communicates that huge expense very clearly.
And think about the image in as high as a kite.
Right, it just paints that picture of soaring way, way up, unrestrained.
And then there's the pure chaos of a chicken with its head cut off.
Well, that one's graphic. But it perfectly captures that frantic, disorganized energy, doesn't it?
You can almost see it, total panic. And when two things are identical, a dead ringer.
Yeah, 100% identical. Or conversely, if an idea bombs, it goes down like a lead balloon.
Another great visual. Just thud, failure.
And what's interesting about Raining Cats and Dogs, the origins are a bit murky. People debate them.
Right, I've heard different stories.
But the image itself, however strange, powerfully conveys intense rain. The meaning is crystal clear, even if the logic isn't.
Totally. And sick as a dog. No ambiguity there. You know someone's really unwell.
Definitely not just a little sniffle.
Yeah.
And similar to dead ringer, you have spitting image. Again, that idea of an exact likeness.
Right. Okay, so moving on to figurative actions, where idioms use concrete actions to talk about abstract ideas.
Yeah, like add fuel to the fire. You can almost visualize the situation getting worse, more intense.
Making a bad situation even more volatile. And when someone goes out of their way to help, they might bend over backwards.
Such a clear image of extreme effort, accommodation, really trying hard for someone.
On the less pleasant side, though, to chew someone out.
Oof. Yeah, vividly describes getting a harsh verbal scolding. Doesn't sound fun.
Not at all. But then you have trying to crack someone up.
Bring that joy through laughter. Always a good goal.
Or the feeling of someone driving you up the wall.
Oh, we've all been there. That feeling of intense irritation building up.
Definitely. And sometimes you wish you could just give someone the slip.
Yeah, subtly escape their notice, get away unseen.
And we admire people who go the extra mile, right? That demonstration of exceptional effort, really going above and beyond.
Absolutely. And the simple phrase, keep an eye on him or her, it just clearly signals that need for a careful observation, for watching someone closely.
Straightforward. Then there's the rather blunt one, kick the bucket.
Yeah, a very stark, informal way of saying someone has died.
It is. And what's intriguing about let the cat out of the bag is how it captures that sudden, often accidental reveal of a secret. Oops, exactly. The secret's out now. And who hasn't been on the receiving end of someone pulling your leg?
That playful teasing, tricking someone just for fun.
Right. And sometimes, maybe less playfully, you just want to tell someone to put a sock in it.
A rather direct way to ask for quiet. Not the most polite, maybe.
Definitely informal. And we've all heard stories or maybe seen it happen, someone trying to steal someone's thunder.
Yeah, taking credit for something someone else did or said. Not cool.
Not cool at all. And finally, to turn a blind eye, that implies a conscious choice, right? Refusing to acknowledge something you know is happening.
A deliberate ignorance. Exactly. Okay, so let's dive into some of those specific categories. Animal idioms first.
Sounds good. Why do you think animals feature so heavily?
Wow, it's fascinating, isn't it? Maybe it's just our long history with animals, living alongside them. We associate certain traits with them,
Like restlessness, having ants in one's pants.
Exactly. Perfect example. Or needing just a short sleep, a cat nap.
Right. And those really hot summer days, the dog days.
Yep. And being efficient? Kill two birds with one stone.
We mentioned let the cat out of the bag and raining cats and dogs already.
We did. And that feeling of suspicion when you smell a rat, you just know something's wrong.
Your intuition kicks in. Okay, how about body idioms? Makes sense. These are common too.
Absolutely. Our own bodies are like the most immediate reference point we have. So if someone's listening intently, they're all ears.
Fully focused and wishing someone good luck, especially performers. Break a leg.
Which is funny because it sounds like the opposite. But yeah, it means good luck.
And that nervousness before a big event.
Cold feet. Definitely felt that one before. Or finding something incredibly expensive. Cost an arm and a leg. Again.
It's a popular one for cost. We cry our heart out when we're intensely sad.
And that relief when you finally confess something. You get something off one's chest.
Such a feeling of unburdening. We tell people to keep their chin up, to stay positive.
We learn by heart when we memorize something perfectly.
And if we promise secrecy, my lips are sealed.
Can't get a word out. And when we finally agree on something, we see eye to eye.
Common ground. Nice. Okay, colors.
Colors add another layer, often drawing on symbolic meanings we attach to them, like turning beet red.
Right, flushed with embarrassment. Or maybe anger.
Or getting bruised. Black and blue.
Yep.
A golden opportunity, that perfect chance you shouldn't miss.
Being jealous makes you green with envy. Feeling sad. You've got the blues.
We mentioned once in a blue moon for rarity.
And bureaucratic hurdles. That's red tape.
Ugh, red tape.
Yeah.
And a little lie, maybe to spare someone's feelings. A white lie.
Harmless, usually well-intentioned. Okay, clothing idioms next.
Sure. How our clothes relate to what we do or how we feel. Like doing something instantly, at the drop of a hat.
No hesitation. Or being obsessed with an idea. Having a bee in one's bonnet.
Buzzing around in your head. If a place is packed full, it's bursting at the seams.
Too full. And being caught unprepared. That's being caught with one's pants down.
An awkward situation. If something fits perfectly, it fits like a glove.
Just right. And if you need to try harder, you need to pull up one's socks.
Make a better effort. We already did put a sock in it for be quiet.
Yeah, it did. And someone who shows their emotions openly, they wear their heart on their sleeve.
Very expressive. Okay, food. These must be common because, well, we all eat. Exactly. Food is so central to life and culture. Someone you cherish is the apple of one's eye.
Ah, and announcing a pregnancy, often done by saying there's a bun in the oven.
A classic. Someone untrustworthy or who causes trouble, they're a bad egg.
Stay away from the bad eggs, an important person, the big cheese.
The boss, the VIP. Earning a living for the family is bringing home the bacon.
Gotta bring home that bacon. Trying to flatter someone, maybe insincerely, you butter someone up.
Laying it on thick. If something isn't to your taste, it's not my cup of tea.
Politely declining. We know piece of cake means easy.
And if something is really popular and sells fast, it sells like hotcakes.
Flying off the shelves. Revealing a secret is to spill the beans.
Let the cat out of the bag, spill the beans. Lots of ways to reveal secrets. And if you're doubtful about something, you might take it with a pinch of salt.
Don't necessarily believe it completely. Be skeptical.
Right, exactly. Okay, nearly there with the categories, geography and weather.
Our environment influences our language too. Makes sense.
Totally. Being extremely happy, you're on cloud nine.
Floating on air. Someone practical and realistic is down to earth.
Grounded. A friend who's only around when things are good. A fair weather friend.
Not very loyal. If things deteriorate or worsen, they go downhill.
Sliding downwards. Time for bed. Got to hit the hay.
Or hit the sack. Both work. Just managing to survive, financially or otherwise. Keeping one's head above water.
Treading water, basically. Exaggerating a small problem. That's making a mountain out of a molehill.
Blowing things out of proportion. If you're past danger or difficulty, you're out of the woods.
Safe now. Need to postpone something. You take a rain check.
Maybe next time. Feeling slightly sick, you're under the weather.
Just a bit off. And being in serious trouble, you're up the creek.
Usually without a paddle.
Often implied. Okay, last big category, sports idioms. Wow, there are a lot of these.
Sports are full of metaphors for life, competition, teamwork.
They really are. And the source often points to the specific sport, which is neat. Across the board, meaning equal for everyone. That might come from betting and horse racing or maybe cards.
Makes sense. And the ball is in your court.
Clearly tennis. It's your turn to act. Your decision now.
Obvious one. How about barking up the wrong tree?
That sounds like hunting, right? Pursuing the wrong idea or person. Taking the wrong approach.
Gotcha. And to win easily, blow the competition away.
Could be any sport, really. Just total domination. To be in charge, you call the shots.
Like in billiards, planning the next move.
Exactly. When something is decided at the very last second, it goes down to the wire.
From horse racing, right, the finish line wire.
That's the one. To start with an advantage is to get a head start. Again, sounds like racing.
And becoming comfortable or proficient at something. Getting into the full swing.
Like a golf swing or tennis. Finding your rhythm.
Escaping a tricky situation or responsibility, get off the hook.
Fishing. Like the fish wriggling free.
Ugh, good one. To try your best. Give it your best shot.
Could be hunting or target practice or just any attempt, really.
Doing too much. Being excessive. Go overboard.
From sailing, literally falling off the boat. Doing way too much.
Having the advantage. You have the upper hand.
Maybe from card games or even fighting, having the dominant position.
And acting unfairly. Hitting below the belt.
Definitely boxing or martial arts. An illegal, unfair move.
Encountering an unexpected problem, you hit a snag.
Like a boat hitting an underwater obstacle. Snagging something.
Being in a really strong position, likely to win, you hold all the aces.
Straight from card games. You've got the best cards.
The final part of an effort. The home stretch.
Like in horse racing or baseball, nearing the finish line or home plate.
Starting too early. Jumping the gun.
Track and field. Starting before the starter pistol fires.
We already did keep one's head above water, swimming, coping.
Right. Learning the basics of something. You learn the ropes.
From sailing, handling the ship's ropes.
Equal opportunity for everyone. A level playing field.
Any field sport, really. Fairness.
An unlikely chance of success. A long shot.
Yeah.
Maybe hunting again or just any difficult attempt. Qualifying or being selected. You make the cut.
Like in golf or team selections.
Being very close in a competition. Neck and neck.
Horse racing again. Necks stretched out at the finish.
Saying something is easy. No sweat.
From athletes, meaning it didn't even make them sweat. Easy effort.
Implying someone isn't intelligent. Not playing with a full deck.
Ouch. Card game reference. Missing some cards.
Being incorrect or mistaken. You're off base.
Baseball. Not touching the base safely.
Being alert and competent. You're on the ball.
Also baseball, probably. Ready for the play.
Being completely wrong or eccentric. Out in left field.
Baseball again. Left field is kind of far out there. Unexpected.
Something expected or normal. It's par for the course.
From golf. The expected score for a hole.
Suggesting there are other options, especially romantically. Plenty of other fish in the sea.
Fishing metaphor. Lots of choices out there.
Something urgent. A race against time.
Like in track or any race, time is the opponent.
Getting revenge or evening the odds to settle a score.
Could be any competitive sport or game.
A wild guess. A shot in the dark.
Hunting or target practice in low light, maybe?
A guess.
Being in a risky situation. Skating on thin ice.
Literally dangerous in ice skating.
Initiating an action or process. Start the ball rolling.
Any ball sport, really. Get things moving.
Taking responsibility or facing a challenge. Step up to the plate.
Baseball. Time for your turn at bat.
We did take a rain check postponing, often from baseball rain delays.
Choosing a side in a conflict. To take sides.
Basic concept in any team sport or conflict. Confronting a challenge directly. Take the bull by the horns.
From bullfighting. Facing the danger head on.
Discouraging someone, ruining their momentum. Take the wind out of one's sails.
Sailing again. Without wind, you can't move.
Giving up. Throw in the towel.
Boxing. The coach throws a towel into the ring to concede. A break or pause. Timeout.
Used in countless sports.
Having limited chances. 3 strikes and you're out.
Baseball. Run out of chances.
Nearly out of chances. 2 strikes against you.
Also baseball. Very precarious position.
Doing something illicitly or secretly. Under the table. Often relates to gambling or illegal payments. Hidden. And winning very easily. you win, hands down.
Maybe from horse racing, where the jockey can relax their grip on the reins, or gambling, where you show your winning hand confidently. Wow, that's an incredible range just from sports.
Isn't it? It shows how much these activities permeate our thinking and language.
Absolutely. Now, our source material also highlights a curated list, about 100 important idioms.
Yeah, a kind of greatest hits list.
Exactly. It really drives home how mastering these common ones can seriously boost your understanding and how you communicate in English.
We've definitely touched on quite a few already just by going through the categories.
We have, but maybe it's worth mentioning a few others from that list that really stand out, like add insult to injury.
Right, making a bad situation even worse. Rubbing salt in the wound, almost.
Or being born into privilege. Born with a silver spoon in one's mouth.
A very clear image of wealth from birth. A bolt from the blue.
Something totally unexpected, like lightning from a clear sky.
How about blow one's own trumpet?
Boasting about your own achievements. Tooting your own horn.
A bone of contention.
That's the specific subject people are arguing about.
Making peace after a conflict. Bury the hatchet.
Nice image of ending hostilities. Cut the Gordian knot.
Solving a really complex problem with a decisive, bold action, not getting bogged down in the details.
Like Alexander the Great supposedly did. Feather one's own nests.
Yeah, that's about enriching yourself, often improperly, using your position.
We mentioned let the cat out of the bag. Again, emphasizes its importance.
Definitely a key one for secrets. Doing something impulsively, on the spur of the moment.
Without planning. Retaliating in kind. Pay someone back in one's own coin.
Giving them the same treatment they gave you. Using influence secretly to pull wires or pull strings.
Like a puppeteer working behind the scenes, understanding hidden meanings. You have to read between the lines.
Look beyond the literal words. We mentioned take the bull by the horns. Again, direct action is clearly valued.
He seems so, sticking by someone through good and bad times, through thick and thin.
A lovely expression of loyalty, making a fresh start, changing your ways to turn over a new leaf.
Starting a new chapter. And achieving recognition or glory, to win laurels.
Like the laurel wreaths given to victors in ancient times. Yeah, that list gives you a real sense of just how varied and pervasive idioms are.
It really does. So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What's the key takeaway here?
Well, in essence, I think it's that understanding idioms gives you more than just, the dictionary definition.
Right.
They add color, efficiency, they make the language more vivid and memorable. They offer these neat shortcuts to convey complex ideas.
And cultural insights too, right? They often reflect shared values or perspectives.
Absolutely crucial insights. Yeah.
So we really hope this deep dive has sparked some of those aha moments for you, the learner. Hope it's given you a clearer, maybe richer understanding of these linguistic shortcuts.
And remember, the best way to really get idioms, to internalize them, is often just encountering them in context. Listening, reading.
Yeah, don't feel like you have to sit down and memorize 100 idioms tonight.
No, please don't. Approach it with curiosity. Enjoy the process of discovery as you come across them.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Ooh, okay.
Think about all the idioms we didn't cover. We talked about animals, sports, food. But what other specific areas of life might have their own unique collections of expressions?
Like maybe specific professions? Medicine, law, or hobbies, cooking, gardening.
Exactly. Perhaps exploring the figurative language, the idioms of one of those specific fields. Maybe that could be your next little linguistic adventure.
That's a great thought. Always more to discover in language.